Hey, Shalom Yasharala, which means peace, Israel. I'd like to start off by giving our praises and honor and our glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Kakodash, Yahweh. That's the true and powerful mighty name. Of who the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah Yahweh our higher. Bahashim means in the name. Yahweh Shai, that's the true and powerful mighty name of who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Yeshua, Yeshua, or Yeshaya. And the Rahach Kodash is the Holy Spirit according to the ancient Paleo Hebrew tongue. I would like to give double honors unto the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who have learned the truth of the Bible from, and peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, and to you believers and listeners out there that came back into the faith and obedience of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Much love and respect unto you, brothers, pushing this gospel in sincerity and truth, risking your lives and freedom now more so than ever. May Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai continue to bless you and your households. I'm the brother Yuwam, coming back at you with another lesson, Lord willing, is edifying to the Lord's elect. And just want to, go into how these devils, should I say, the Edomites, which is self-proclaimed white man, okay, the Caucasian race, is starting to show their horns in these last days, man. Okay, that's something I used to tell people all the time, man. These white folks do not like you Israelites. They only tolerate you. And their tolerance is coming to an end. And the Israelites consist primarily of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Natives, Seminole Indians, West Indians, and Haitians. You also have the Israelite foreigners who are likened unto a speckled bird, who look like the heathen nations because they've been scattered amongst the heathen nations. But their bloodline and lineage goes back onto Jacob by way of their fathers. Okay? But I came across 3 articles, and it's showing that they proving to you that the tolerance for you Jakes is running out with these white folks, man. So the first one said 2 black men found hanging in Mississippi just hours apart. So authorities in Mississippi are investigating 2 separate incidents involving so-called black men, which they're Israelite men from the tribe of Judah, found hanging within 24 hours, raising alarm and prompting calls for transparency as communities grapple with shock and grief. On Monday, Delta State University police confirmed that 21-year-old student DeMartravon Trey Reed was found dead on campus in Cleveland, Mississippi. University Police Chief Michael L. Peeler said during a press conference that Reed's body was discovered hanging from a tree near the pickleball courts at approximately 7:05 a.m. At this time, there is no evidence of foul play. So they say they're going to try to rule it as a suicide. The body has been retrieved by the Bolivar County Coroner's Office. I have requested the assistance of the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, the Bolivar County Sheriff's Office, and the Cleveland Police Department to assist us in this ongoing investigation. Although the Bolivar County Coroner has not confirmed the case of death, authorities are treating the incident as a suicide. I did not just say that. And they know goddamn well this man did not get up there and hang himself, man. Okay, it ain't no coincidence after, all the little incidents that took place last week. And you have, manifestos of these devils saying they finna go on a killing spree and target just blacks. But let's ignore that, though. Back to the article. Delta State President Dan Ennis addressed the campus community following the discovery, noting that the campus would not go into lockdown due to there being no present threat. Boy. Now, let it have been an Edomite, though. They'd have locked their campus down. I want to reiterate Chief Pillar's comments. And it said, there is no evidence of a threat to campus, and there is no evidence the campus is unsafe at this point. The tragedy occurred at the university's. Roughly 2,700 students were preparing to celebrate its centennial All ceremonies, including open ceremonies and the unveiling of a time capsule, were canceled and classes were suspended on Monday as students, faculty, and staff were encouraged to visit counseling resources to cope with the traumatic incident. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to jump down. Just hours after Reed's death, another tragic discovery was made across the state. Around 1:30 p.m. on Monday, the Vicksburg Police Department responded to a call about a body found hanging in a wooded area off the 4100 block of Washington Street near the Amir Star Casino. The victim had been identified as Corey Zucatis, the resident of Brandon, Mississippi. Police said the investigation remains ongoing, and as of press of time, no further details have been released regarding the circumstances around Corey's death. Although police have assured the public that the two incidents are not connected, the proximity and timing between Reed's death in Cleveland and Corey's death in Vicksburg has drawn heightened attention, especially after black colleges received bomb threats following the death of controversial podcaster Charlie Kirk. And that was part of the, those incidents that happened last week. Okay. So I'm going to end that article. Let's go here. Man threatened mass murders of minorities after Charlie Kirk killing, feds say. So a 19-year-old was tracked down by the FBI and arrested after federal prosecutors said he threatened mass murders against the Jewish people and minorities following the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Jace Allen of Jamestown, New Mexico, promised to shoot up unspecified locations in the series of public threats he posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, while using the alias Jabron Lames on September 11th. The FBI's eGuardian counter-terrorist system, which tracks threats, noticed Allen's post and alerted the agency. An FBI special agent wrote in the affidavit. The FBI linked the account to Allen used to his phone and home address, then visited and interviewed him at his residence later on September 11th. One day after Kirk, the founder of Turning Point USA, was okay. At Allen's home, he told agents, according to the affidavit, that he identifies as a neo-Nazi and hates the small hats and minorities. The affidavit says that Allen believes a civil war is inevitable in the United States and wants to help spark the civil war by terrorizing people online. Yeah, and hey, that's true. A civil war is inevitable and is prophesied. Man. Okay, that's one of the ways this kingdom is going to fall through the division. Okay, so now Allen is charged with transmitting communications containing a threat to injure another person. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of New Mexico said in a September 12th news release he was arrested September 12th, court record shows. A federal public defender representing Allen did not immediately return McClathy's news request for comment September 15th. Shortly after Kirk was killed, according to the affidavit, a user on X wrote to Allen saying, "Do you think it's wise to be calling for mass violence after a right-wing influencer just got assassinated? Have some self-conscious thoughts, please." In a response, the affidavit says Allen posted, "Nah, I'm already on my way to commit a mass murder. The time for talking is over." In addition to minorities, Allen is accused of threatening to kill libs and an Ohio city council member. "You're going to be one of my first to die," Allen wrote in a post directed towards the council member. "I'll be seeing you soon." The council member was not identified in the filing. Allen also posted that he will harm anyone who has something bad to say about Charlie. And that's the sentiment about a lot of people. That a lot of people have. That's why people are getting fired and losing their jobs and, uh, getting talked about for talking about this man. But that's pretty much what shit ultimately that happened through Yahweh Bashim Shai, and what he wanted is happening. Okay. In a series of ex posts, he claimed to bought a gun, according to the filing, which suggests he never actually purchased one. The FBI agent investigating Allen wrote in the affidavit Allen does not own any guns, but wanted to buy a rifle with a scope, the same make, model, and style that was used to assassinate Kurt. Hey, so these devils are letting it be known and there's more like him that's out there now. Wanting to bring harm onto Jake, man. And minorities, we know that they're talking about blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay. 1144 call them like Yahweh Bashim Shai. Alright. So let's go to the third article. Outrage as pro-Trump rapper and country singer release pro-lynching song Hang 'em Up High at sundown. Man. A white rapper known for a viral anthem supporting Donald Trump and Republican officials had released a music video with the country singer calling for public lynchings. And you know who they want to lynch. Okay, because they ain't going to be lynching their own, you minorities, you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So over a banjo riff, the chorus of Good versus Eagle from MAGA rapper Fort Giotto Blow and country singer J.J. Lawhorn repeats instructions for hanging people at sundown, an apparent reference to sundown towns that violently enforce racial segregation. The song calls for a big tall tree and a short piece of rope to hang them high at sundown and leave them swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town. Man, so much was said in just that little verse. Okay, these Edomites are pretty much telling you, Jakes, they want to go back to them times, man. And then Jake got into their heart, their mind, that we not in those times anymore, which we aren't. Okay, because Jake like to bring out that they got guns and all that shit now. Okay, but yeah, you may have guns and all that, but Esau got bigger guns. He has tanks, fighter jets, Black Hawk helicopters. He has a freaking satellites in space. He can shoot you down with freaking laser beams, direct energy weapons. That's what I wanted to say. He has something called a fucking heart attack gun. And y'all Jakes ain't going. Y'all can't go to war with Esau. That's why we need Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Esau will always outgun us, man. But as long as we have Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, we good. So a verse from Fortigato Blow, whose real name is Kirk Jantz, lists 3 white murder victims whose killer or accused killers are black and Latino. He named the killings of Austin Metcalf, Lake and Riley, and of course, Aranya Zarkutska, who was fatally stabbed in a bus in North Carolina. Jenks said she was killed by an Nigger. Later, Longhorn sings, "We ought to do it like they did way back in the day, because Granddaddy's ways works best." Like I said at the beginning of the lesson, man, they only tolerated us, but you can see that toleration is leaving. The song follows the assassination of Kurt, which provided the Trump administration with a framework to prosecute Democratic officials and left-wing groups by using a sweeping campaign against protected speech. I'm done being silent in my faith, Jantz wrote. And what people fail to realize is that Christianity is tied to goddamn white people colonizing and killing you Jakes, man. I'm done being a silent conservative. I'm no longer concerned that truth may hurt your feelings. Jesus is coming back, and we are all part of his mission. And I guess, hey, white man Jesus is coming back to kill you niggas. And these Edomites on the mission with him. But Yahweh Shai is gonna come back and he gonna take all you niggas, all you Edomites out, man. Somebody has to say it, Lawhorn wrote. Jantz, the self-described mayor of Magaville, has been the face of a MAGA rap subgenre built explicitly around support for the president, with provocative songs referencing white ring culture wars and Trump's agenda, seemingly designed to bait critics. In the wake of all the violent killings recently, it's time to bring back public executions. Man, and I guess that's him. Or that's the blow guy. Meanwhile, they say the left is engaging in hate speech. One person wrote on social media, and saying how unsubtle this is, another wrote, what else do you call this other than a call for violence? Yeah, they trying to incite a civil war. So more than 6,500 people, mostly African Americans, were killed in racist attacks between 1865 and 1950 in the aftermath of the Civil War and emancipation, and throughout an era of white militia terror during Reconstruction and in the years surrounding the Civil Rights Movement, according to the Equal Justice Initiative. And also, too, I can't find the article right now, but I've been seeing it pop up that Trump is, making these national parks remove images or art or anything about slavery. Why are you trying to erase slavery? Okay, but black people were the primary victims of lynching, though immigrants from Mexico, China, Australia, and other countries are also lynched. And some white people were lynched for aiding black people or for their position against lynching. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, named after the black teenager whose murder in 1955 magnified Jim Crow-era violence that galvanized the civil rights movements, designates lynching as a crime punishable up to 30 years in prison. So that wasn't that long ago. You think about it, 1955. Let's see, we're in 2025. That was 70 years ago. It was not that long ago. Okay? It passed the House of Representatives in 2022 by the vote of 433 to 7 and cleared the Senate unanimously. Joe Biden signed it into law that year. Following Kirk's death, Trump and right-wing figures quickly sought to punish left-wing voices for rhetoric they blamed for his killing, with a renewed commitment from the Trump administration to crack down on the radical left. For years, those on the radical left had compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals, Trump said in the speech from the Oval Office. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop now, he added. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including organizations that funded and supported. Elon Musk, who owns X, where the song has been viewed more than 100,000 times, called the Democratic Party, the party of murder and accused media outlets and educational institutions of programming people to murder. Between the January 6th insurrection and the 2024 election, there were at least 300 cases of political violence, marking the largest surge in such attacks since the 1970s, according to Reuters analysis. Since 2016, there were nearly 3 times as many partisan-driven attacks and plots in the United States as the previous quarter century. A 2023 Center for Strategic and International Studies paper found, yet a kingdom divided cannot stand. Yet a larger body of research has found that right-wing extremists have killed more people than those associated with any other political causes in the United States. Within the last 2 decades, though, many of those attacks don't map neatly into one political ideology. Trump's Department of Justice recently removed a study from his website showing that white supremacists and far-right violence continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violence extremism in the United States. I wonder why, because they want to be justified. So, hey, man, Esau Edom is being revealed who they truly are in these days, man, in these last days. The wicked, the man of sin, the oppressor of Israel. Okay? When I say his horns is showing, okay, represents his power, violence, and his deceitful nature. Okay, but Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is exposing all this. Let's go here to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, which is Esau Edom. Okay, he's being exposed in this last days for his wicked rulership, and his lies cannot hide him anymore. Who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped. So he, as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. Yeah, he got that God complex. Okay? He wants to be, he painted the image over, that he was God, the Messiah, and the saints, man. Jump down to verse 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, which has been going on, which, let me continue reading. Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, which is the prophets. That's how this man has been getting, brought down. Okay, because it really wasn't since the apostles and elders of Great Millstone jumped on YouTube to start pushing this message out. Because this truth has been out since the late 60s, early 70s. Okay, but it was the internet that pretty much, propelled it forward the way it did. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. And that's the second coming of Yahushua, man. Okay, so Job 9:24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof, and not wherein who is he? He painted, like I said earlier in 2 Thessalonians, he painted over the images of our God, our Lord and Savior, which is the Messiah and the saints. But in these last days, the truth is coming out, showing who he really is, right? That he's not truly the people of the Most High, like he tries to project like he is. Let's go here. Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. Yeah, all the blasphemy, trying to prove that that Yahweh isn't real, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High, the Israelites. Okay, mainly the elect is being worn out. Okay. And think to change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and dividing and the divide until a time and times and the dividing of times. So your Esau system, his laws, and his wicked decrees wear out Jake, showing his oppressive nature, man. This man, that's his MO. He's a goddamn oppressor, man. Speak as a lamb, come as a lamb, but he's really a dragon. Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth. And he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Yeah, America, aka Babylon the Great, pretends to be peaceful. That's where the lamb comes in. You know, both parties, Democrats and Republicans, try to act like they're for the people. But he speaks as a dragon. His true nature lies, wars, and persecution, especially against Jake. Okay? And now they coming out. They not even trying to hide it anymore, man. They is as blatant as possible. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, you heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the sea, for the devil, Esau Edom, is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. Right, in these last days, Esau, he's getting more violent and showing his true nature, because he know that his kingdom is going down and he doesn't have that much time left in rulership. Okay. Psalms 51, Psalms 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Esau tries to hide behind his smooth talk. Okay, his politics, his democracy. Okay, all those speeches. But in reality, he's always plotting war and pressure. That's why you got to read between the lines, man. Okay, and know the meaning of these words. Okay, that's why we're instructed never to trust our enemy. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 12, verse 10. Never trust our enemy, for like his iron rusted, so of his wickedness. Right. Esau's nature is wicked. He's been wicked from the womb. Okay. Came out speaking lies. Even if he looks clean and polished. In fact, let me read verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed of him and beware. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away. Right? Even if he looks clean and polished, just like iron that eventually rusts, his true nature always comes out, no matter what. So don't be deceived by his political speeches, his humanitarian aid, and because his end game is always the destruction for Jake. Esau pretends to be humble, but the looking glass means if you look closely, you will still see the rust, which the rust here, okay, for this lesson will be his racism, his pride, and his hatred towards Jake. Okay. Verse 12, set him not by thee, lest when he have overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words to be pricked therewith. Right? Don't let them get too close or have authority over you. Because, just like in Deuteronomy 28:48 or 28:43, a curse that was put on our people. The stranger that is within thee shall get up above thee very high, and thou shalt come very low. That has happened, and Esau capitalizes off of that. Okay, so once in your seat, the seat of rulership, he will overthrow you and rule, just like what happened in history, man. Okay, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such come nigh wild beast? So one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Esau is a serpent. Okay, he is that same serpent in the garden coming back. So why would you trust him? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Okay, because let me go here. Let me go here. Psalms 58:3. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stopped her ears. Right. They're poison like the poison of a serpent. So if you join hand in hand with the wicked, you're going to share their judgment, man. You're going to share their judgment. And I mean, no, nobody wants, I mean, I know me personally, I don't want to partake with these devils, man. So back to Sirach 12, let's go to verse 15 now. For a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. They will stick around as long as it benefits them. But the second you're down, he's going to abandon you. Let's take a look at America's foreign policy. Okay, they act like they're allies to their nations, don't they? But as soon as the country is weak or they not rocking with Esau's policies, America invades, they put sanctions on them, or they destroy them, man. Same with Jake. Esau used us in slavery, sports, and entertainment, and in the military. But when you no longer useful to him, he cast you away. Okay? And he does. He uses you and abuses you. Verse 16. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagines how to throw thee into a pit. That's that Psalms 55 and 11, man. The words of his heart. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but in his heart, his mind, he got, war in his mind. He will weep with his eyes, but if he found opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. Esau pretends to care, crying for human rights and freedom, but in his heart, he's plotting traps, man. Psalm 64, let's get that. Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. They may shoot in secret at the perfect, which are the Israelites, and suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of them, of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Hey, and they love trying to put them snares for Jake, man. Okay. Even when he kills is not enough. Think of colonization, slavery, lynching, mass incarceration, and now they trying to bring out the MOTB, man. His appetite for destruction, especially Jake's destruction, it never ends, it never ceases. So back to Sirach 12, verse 17. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. Though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Whenever Jake falls into trouble, Esau is the first to exploit it. Let's take an example. After the Haiti earthquakes, he rushes in, pretending to help, but really sets up military bases, took their resources, and just caused more destabilization. Okay? He only helps to undermine. Verse 18, he will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. So when your downfall comes, Esau rejoice. He mocks at Jake's suffering. Okay? You can link that with Lamentations chapter 2, verse 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth, which we are supposed to, but we is such a low estate now. All thy enemies have opened their mouths against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly, this is the day we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. Yep, but they're gonna get they're gonna get brought down. Let's go to Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. Talking about these Edomites, man. They are not upright at all. They lifted up through their pride. but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. They hella prideful. Neither keeper at home. They go to invade in all these other countries. Who enlarged his desire as hell in is as death and cannot be satisfied, but gather up unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. Right. His lies, philosophy, and bloodshed have reached the whole earth. Now people are saying he's the true devil, right? He can't hide behind, I'm white, because white just means pure. Yeah, y'all far from pure, man. Isaiah chapter 47, verse 3. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. Yahweh by Shemi Hawashai is exposing Esau Edom. His history and his lies are being brought to light by way of his prophets, man, and they are not liking it at all. They are not liking it at all. Okay, but Esau can't hide behind Christianity, freedom, or democracy anymore. His horns, which represent power, lies, military, and persecution, are being shown openly, and prophecy is pulling the veil off his deception. He will persecute Jake much harder in these last days, and we seeing that. Okay, that's the whole point of me going into this lesson. Okay, and they finna come down on Jake. Northern tribe, the Hispanic and Latin tribes, they got it first. But Southern Kingdom, you Negroes, Negro tribes, y'all finna get it the worst, man. But that's how we also know his time is short and Yahweh Shai is about to return, man. So, brothers, continue to hold on. Pray to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai to give you the spirit to endure, because we're going to need it. And we're going to need his faith and his mercy. We're going to need his mercy and his forgiveness. Okay. During the times we're going to come into, man. We're going to need grace and mercy. So I pray and hope this lesson was edifying, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, and peace, blessing, safety, and salutation unto the hopeful elect, unto you believers and listeners out there that came back to the faith and obedience of Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, and a Bible ball.